right, Zach. So the other day I was on YouTube, scrolling through, and we've talked about my YouTube algorithm, how it knows that I like music that people aren't listening to.
It's how this show started.
It's a big part of it, yeah. So I scroll by, I see a thumbnail for an album called Equid Bath When the Hay Bale Flops. I'll show you what the thumbnail looked like. That's what we're looking at. So it's some MS Paint art. I'll throw it up on the screen.
I mean, you can't scroll past that.
Let's see what this is. So I click on it, and I'm kind of expecting some sort of, I don't know, furry noise project or...
Familiar territory.
So this is The Blue.
I'm getting like Alice in Chains out of it, very much. Like, it reminds me of Rain When I Die. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of grunge out of it. This is more like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains Soundgarden, sort of, more than like, yeah, this is very Soundgarden. Okay. I'm curious because this is just...
It's not what you expect.
It's normal music. Which is not at all, that's like, that is... It's funny that you're showing me normal music and I'm like, that doesn't make any, it's too weird for this show.
So, not at all what you expected,
No,
right?
based off of that album art, no.
So I'm looking through and I'm trying to figure out exactly what you are. I'm like, this is good music. I'm like, this is real music. This was professionally recorded by somebody. This is a band. This is not someone mixing 8 instruments in their basement.
Yeah.
Or, you know, screaming into a microphone in a big empty room.
Someone completely talentless, trying to do something, yeah.
Yeah, it's none of what I expected. So I'm like, what is going on here? I'm looking through the comments and things, and I figure out what happened. There is no band called Equid Bath. Equid Bath is not a band. This is an album called When the Kite String Pops by Acid Bath. It was recorded in 1994. So why is it being uploaded to YouTube as Equid Bath with this MS Paint art?
Okay, so now I'm thinking that the one that's posted on YouTube is something that is slightly altered. Like, you know, like those, like I've seen it before where people upload remakes of albums, but with the Super Mario 64 sound font, right?
Yeah.
But that is very like explicitly marketed that way. So I'm wondering if there was some alteration that is less noticeable.
The only alteration that was made to the album was, and that was not the version that was on YouTube for the record.
I figured.
There was 6 seconds of
nay
added to the start. The reason that it has been uploaded to YouTube under this fake name and very minusculely altered was just to make the album streamable, because there's been a long battle to stream Acid Bath online. I found out through the comments that there was another person that just kept re-uploading the album to their channel under the name Placid Rat. I couldn't find Placid Rat. Placid Rat has been taken down,
wiped off the face of the earth.
Same with Equid Bath at the time of this recording.
Oh my God.
So the reason this is being done is that Acid Bath was a band in the 90s, and they recorded 2 records for a record label called Rotten Records. This is where I'm going to be very delicate with my wording of things for legal reasons.
Love record company drama.
Rotten Records owns the rights to both records and did not put the record on any streaming service until 2020.
Okay.
They were recorded in 1994.
Right.
Even after 2020, they would go up on a platform, and then they would go off of a platform, and then they would come back. So people were uploading and preserving the album on any platform they could
Right.
for decades, basically. So I found out at one point the most reliable way to find the record for decades, or for years, was on the hub.
That's I guess they're not searching there.
I think it has since been taken down
yeah.
from there. Apparently Rotten Records is very aggressive about taking down anything associated with any of their artists. I have apparently someone was issued 112 DMCA notices in 48 hours and was taken to court.
God.
Not for Acid Bath, for another artist that we
In
might.
48 hours?
48 hours.
How many was it?
112.
That's insane.
Yes.
Aggressive is, putting it lightly, is how they are when it comes to their music being streamed.
Acid Bath formed south of New Orleans in 1991 when the bands Golgotha and Dark Carnival combined to become the Acid Bath we know. The main lineup includes Dax Riggs on lead vocals, Sammy Duet on guitars and backup vocals, Mike Sanchez playing guitar and also vocals, Jimmy Kyle on drums, Audie Petra on bass and occasional backing vocals. In 1993, they signed with Rotten Records and released their first album, When the Kite String Pops, in 1994. They released their follow-up album, Pagan Terrorism Tactics, in 1996. So retroactively, they were considered a founding force in sludge metal.
Okay. That I'm familiar with.
Yeah. So again, you think about the time period this is coming out, 91 to 94. They're doing something new with their sound here.
Right.
I'm reading up on them and I'm finding they could have been a big band. Why are they not?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have you guess why they're not.
Screwed by the record label.
Yep.
Is the most obvious one, based off of the record label's track record that you've already told me. I mean, I'm guessing they didn't get as much promotion as they would have liked, or music videos probably. Yeah. Either they didn't do music videos, or they were forced to do music videos that they didn't want to do, that then didn't perform. Those are usually the way, around the 90s, that was the way things went. I mean, that's how bands blew up at the time.
Long term, obviously, there's been the issue with Rotten not adapting to modern platforms and things, which has made them exist in piracy and direct sales only.
Yeah, and especially when you consider, there's a lot of re-evaluation of artists now with streaming. Like Deftones is way bigger than when they were around. They've had a whole resurgence. Shoegaze is a great example of an entire genre that was hated when it first came out and has completely exploded in popularity.
Yeah.
Later.
There is a ton of drama I was unable to substantiate. This is
fun.
This is lore that is shared amongst Acid Bath fans.
Yeah.
So Ron was the head of Rotten Records, and Rotten Ron and and the band had a lot of issues. Exactly what you said. They basically said, "Hey, you're not promoting the band in any meaningful way." Controversy.
Okay.
So their major controversy.
Let's just real quick. I'm guessing it has something to do with the fact that they are their genre is a bit darker in tone, and it's going to be some sort of like this is around the time of the parental advisory war, so to speak. So I'm guessing it has something to do with things that people did not want their children listening to.
That's definitely a factor.
Okay.
I mean, there's a ton of references in their lyrics that are just, make it not radio playable, even on the alt-rock stations.
Yeah.
There's definitely enough that they could have played, though. The main issue is tied to that phenomenal album artwork, and I'll show it to you again. Let me know if you can figure out what the issue is before.
So, I mean, it's a
Yeah, go ahead.
it's a clown. That's like John Gacy.
So their album artwork for When the Kite String Pops is a self-portrait of John Wayne Gacy.
Okay, I saw a
That
clown.
is-
I thought John Wayne Gacy, and then in the bottom corner, it's the image that we have is very, very low resolution.
Yes,
I
sorry.
saw a J and a G. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So there was obviously some kerfuffle about officially using John Wayne Gacy's artwork. Because
He did some bad things.
He might not have been a great guy.
No, yeah.
It's not just a drawing of
Right,
John Wayne
it's a
Gacy. This is one of his prison self-portraits. He did a lot of them, apparently. So this is his Pogo the Clown persona. He painted a bunch of them. How this came to be, in acid bath lore, the understanding of most fans is that the record company said, hey, you are going to use this artwork on your album. That's how we're going to market it.
Whoa.
So what I found an interview with Sammy Duet, the guitarist, where he claims what happened was none of the band members could come to any sort of consensus on what the album artwork should be. And Ron has called up his serial killer art guy, because apparently he has a serial killer art guy, and said, hey, what do you got? And he's like, oh, I got all this stuff. And he's like, oh, do you want this? He's like, what about this Pogo self-portrait? And brought it to the band, and they went, yeah, good enough. So it sounds like Sammy was okay, or was cool with it. I'm guessing the truth lies probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm guessing some of the band members didn't like the idea.
Yeah.
Sammy seemed okay with it, and then Ron was on, full steam ahead with it. And their second album art, so the artwork for that one is art done by Dr. Kevorkian.
The artwork that you showed me,
Yes.
that you saw on YouTube, was that like a MS Paint adaptation of the original John Wayne
Yes.
Gacy album art?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you look at it, it's very clearly
Okay, but why is it like a horse?
because Equid means horse.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't.
So that's mildly clever.
Yeah, I don't know why he went horse with it, but
Why not?
I think that's why.
Yeah.
I think it's just why not.
Despite everything the band was going through, they continued touring until 1997, when tragedy brought everything to a halt. Audie and his parents were killed when a drunk driver blew through a stop sign and crashed into their car. His brother Kelly was in the car and survived with a broken rib and neck fracture. This was when everything started falling apart for Acid Bath. Audie was the glue that held the group together, and they decided to part ways shortly after.
The last show Acid Bath ever performed took place at the Shreveport Municipal Auditorium on April 12, 1997. Jeremy Bouillon played guitar for Acid Bath instead of Mike Sanchez. I don't know why. And Acid Bath did not get paid because the show wasn't promoted properly and not enough people showed.
Wow. That's frustrating as a band, to say the least.
Like, the legacy of this album,
Mhm.
it really builds into a lot of metal that came afterwards.
Okay, so it's very sort of like your favorite band's
Yes.
favorite band sort of
I
deal?
mean, so Corey Taylor specifically said,
Uh-huh.
he said, like, what we were listening to when we formed Slipknot, Acid Bath.
Okay.
Like, it was a list of maybe 3 or 4 bands, and Acid Bath was amongst them. So you don't get Slipknot without Acid Bath. I think there's a lot of other, very heavy kind of doomy bands that you're going to hear this influence in, like Lamb of God or Mastodon. So Dax Riggs, the singer, would go on to work on a whole lot of projects, including Agents of Oblivion Daisy Head and the Moon Crickets, Dead Boy and the Elephant Men. Most of those didn't last very long. Dead Boy and the Elephant Men lasted like 7 years, but I don't know how consistent it was. He currently works solo under his own name and also sometimes the name T-Dax and his White Plastic Soul. Agents of Oblivion, the first one of those I listed, they were active for like a little over a year, and they featured Mike Sanchez, the guitarist from Acid Bath, on that album. So he was guitar for that. That's all I've got for Mike Sanchez. In terms of sound, Agents of Oblivion is much more melodic. It's like a heavy melodic rock band. None of the screaming vocals or anything like that. Sammy Duet has been playing guitar for the band Goat Whore continuously since 1997. Have you ever heard of Goat Whore?
I've not. That's a great name.
You know, a big festival, if there's like 20 metal bands, Goat Whore will be in there somewhere.
Okay.
I cannot find anything on the original drummer Jimmy Kyle. Besides, in 2014, rumors started that Acid Bath were reuniting with a new vocalist when Jimmy Kyle reached out to vocalist of Slipknot, Corey Taylor.
Okay.
With a very vague message stating Acid Bath is in search of a vocalist. Please send MP3 demo, videos, or any music links performing Acid Bath songs. However, these rumors were dismissed by Sammy Duet with the following statement. I'd like to clarify a few things. Drummer Jimmy Kyle created that post without prior discussion with guitarist Mike Sanchez or myself, Sammy Duet. Acid Bath is not looking for a vocalist. There is no Acid Bath without late bassist Audie. So there will never be new Acid Bath material. Currently, most of the surviving members of Acid Bath, Jimmy, Mike, and myself have been considering the possibility of doing some shows in the future as an Acid Bath tribute band, but nothing has been set in stone and it's just an idea. Unfortunately, Dex Riggs declines to be part of such a tribute. We respect Dex and his decision. If we decide to put together an Acid Bath tribute band, the vocalist will be chosen carefully, but it is way too early to discuss choosing a vocalist at this time. I'd like to thank the loyal diehard Acid Bath fans for supporting us, blah, 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 blah. Sammy Duet, 2014. So all of those previous bands put together have less Spotify monthly listeners than Acid Bath does.
Yeah.
Which currently sits at 345,000.
Okay. That's a good amount.
Yeah.
For a band that's a good amount for a band that has not been on streaming and
For
their prime
decades,
prime was several decades ago, yeah.
On October 15th, 2024, it was announced that Acid Bath would be playing their first show in 28 years at the Sick New World Festival in Las Vegas on April 12th, 2025. They are reforming with Riggs, Duet, and Sanchez, Zach Simmons, who is the drummer for Goat Whore, and Alex Bergeron from Agents of Oblivion. And they initially said that was going to be a one-off reunion show, but they are also playing a second date at the Sonic Temple Fest in Columbus, Ohio on May 9th, 2025.
So fairly late into editing this video, like I was just about to post it, I found out the Sick New World Festival was canceled. So one of those reunion shows isn't happening, but at least there's still Sonic Temple Fest.
So maybe there's a happy ending in this.
Hopefully, yeah. Good for them.
Good for Acid Bath.
If you can say good for them, I mean, after all the crap. That was an interesting little rabbit hole that all started because somebody drew a horse that looked like John Wayne Gacy and put it on YouTube.
That's how all good adventures start.
Yeah.
When someone draws a horse that looks like John Wayne Gacy. Acid Bath superfans, there's a bunch of stuff that I kind of tiptoe around in this video. Feel free to throw it in the comments because you know what controversies and things I'm talking about, especially with the record company. Feel free to throw all the horror stories in the comments. I'm not going to read them all out because, like I said, I can't substantiate them and I don't want us to get sued.
We'll have our lawyers review this episode.
I want to give a quick shout out to a YouTube channel called Acid Bath Archive, without which this video really wouldn't have been possible. It was a source for a lot of the information, and all of the concert footage used in this video comes from their channel. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to their channel in the description below. If you made it this far, then please consider liking and subscribing. It really help us out, and you probably like our content if you got this far. So you may have noticed I didn't put a lot of Acid Bath music in this video, trying to keep the video from getting taken down. So in terms of my recommendations, listen to the one The Kite String Pops. That whole album is worth listening to. If you don't want to dedicate the time, I get it. Go ahead and listen to either my favorite, Scream of the Butterfly, or Jezebel. If you have any other ideas for any other topics, musical or otherwise, that we should cover, just let us know in the comments.